Well, just think of it, 4,200 passengers and crew stranded at sea for days. Only 5 working toilets, sweltering heat, and limited food. That is what's facing those aboard a Carnival cruise ship now being towed into port in Mobile, Alabama. So just how are those passengers coping? Well, for some insight now, I'm joined by the sister of one of those trapped on board. Joining me on the line from Lafayette, Indiana, is Jennifer Stanfield. Great of you to give us some time today, Jennifer. So I'll just start by asking what you're hearing about your sister and the conditions she and her friends are having to deal with.
Well, thank you for calling. She's not given us any information as of yesterday, so I don't know anything since yesterday morning, and I'm assuming it's because her cell phone battery is probably dead at this point, and she's not able to charge it up. But from what I've heard, conditions are pretty bad. They were given plastic baggies to use for their personal toilet facility. She stood in line 3 hours waiting for food, and those ahead of her hoarded a bunch of that food. And then by the time she got anything, there was 1 hamburger left and a bottle of water. So that's what she had. And I've heard other people talk about, even worse conditions. I heard on the news that they are rationing food now, so I'm hoping that hoarding situation has been taken care of. But they're not allowed to go into their rooms, and I don't know if that's because there's no electricity in their electric locks or if it's because of no air conditioning and for their comfort, but they're sleeping on deck and in public places. So it's not exactly what they had in mind when they signed up for a weekend getaway.
And you're saying, so they're locked out of their rooms. They're having to use plastic bags because there are only literally 5 washrooms, we're being told today, working for more than 4,000 people. Do you get a sense from her whether, in fact, there's even any privacy available if everyone is being forced to sleep outside on the decks and use these plastic bags?
Right, yeah, I don't know about the privacy. I would assume that even though they can't use the washrooms, that they would at least be able to access them to have privacy to use the restroom and then dispose of their baggie somehow. I don't know, but yeah, it's rough conditions.
Now, this was supposed to be a relaxing getaway with friends, right? And I gather they're each taking turns texting their husbands and then passing the messages along to all of you. So what kind of information are you hearing about your sister and her friends through this message system?
Well, there's one of the husbands, there's 20 women that are out together, and one of the husbands is like the point man that Carnival Cruise is contacting. And when he gets information, he sends it out to all the other husbands. And so my brother-in-law is not that point man, so I'm not getting direct information, so I don't really know what Carnival is saying to them. But the girls are all, like I said, taking turns so that they can save their cell phone batteries to text their husbands, and then they get the word out. And from what I understand, they're trying to play cards on deck and trying to make the best of a bad situation.
You're her sister, so of course you know Jet very well. And knowing her as you do, I wonder, how do you think she's holding up in this kind of a situation?
Well, I think she's a very tough individual, and she has a positive mental attitude. And honestly, I think that she's trying to encourage the other people around her and remind them that this is only temporary and they're going to be on dry land here hopefully tomorrow afternoon, and that they can look back on this in the future as their great adventure at sea. I'm sure they won't be telling funny stories right off the bat, but I'm sure in the future they will look back and have a story to tell.
No doubt. Well, and as you say, hopefully within 24 hours or so, that ship that's now being towed to Mobile, Alabama, will hopefully be in dock. I'm sure you'll be looking forward to embracing your sister after all of this.
Absolutely.
Jennifer Stanfield joining me on the line from Lafayette, Indiana. I really appreciate this. Thank you.